What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a fantastic day. And what we're talking about today is flash sync speed, and we'll talk a little bit about high speed sync and what that is. But I just want to talk a little bit about kind of what's happening behind the scenes in your camera when you take a picture. So when I first started with flash photography, I would crank my shutter speed and I get this big black bar across my image, and I, for the life of me, didn't know what it was. And that's really because I didn't understand what was happening when I actually took the picture. Now, it's not completely imperative for you to understand exactly the inner workings of your camera, but I think it's important to understand how your shutter works, especially if you're going to be using flash. So what happens when you take a picture, you've got a front curtain and you've got a rear curtain of your camera. So when you click the shutter release button, your front curtain opens and then your rear curtain closes. So let's say we have a 1 second exposure. We click the shutter release button, front curtain opens, 1 second goes by, and then your rear curtain closes. Now, as you increase your shutter speed, the time in between when the front curtain opens and the rear curtain closes gets shorter and shorter until eventually they actually have to work at the same time in order to get across the sensor in time. And basically the maximum amount of time that your front curtain and your rear curtain work independently from each other is your maximum sync speed, or your flash sync speed. Now, you're asking about, okay, what's the black line all about? Well, if you go above your flash sync speed, you're gonna start getting this black line, and what you're actually doing is you're actually taking a picture of the rear curtain closing. So as you keep increasing your shutter speed, that black bar keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it eventually covers your whole frame. Now, one way to get around having this issue is to use something called high speed sync. And what that does is, although to us it just looks like just one pop of flash, what your flash is actually doing is pulsing a bunch of times and exposing different areas of the sensor as that sliver goes through with your front and back curtain. Now, not every flash has, high speed sync capabilities. So one way to get around that, if you have a different type of flash that doesn't support high speed sync, is to use an ND filter. And what that is, it's basically sunglasses for your camera. What it does is you just put it on the front of your lens and it decreases the overall ambient exposure so you can stay within sync speed and still open up your aperture to get that beautiful bokeh that we all want. One issue with high speed sync, however, is that because it's pulsing, you're actually gonna have a decreased flash power. So you're not gonna be able to get as much flash power out of your strobe when you're using high speed sync, but it is a really great way to avoid having focus issues like you would have with an ND filter. So again, there's upsides and downsides of both, but I really just wanted to kind of explain how your shutter works, and hopefully this video helped. So next time when you're shooting and you go above your sync speed, you know exactly what that black bar is.